So you guys can pass this around. That's okay. We had the opportunity to sit down with some of the official selections of the Dances with Films Festival during their press junket. Okay, so tell us a quick log line of your film and yeah.
So I'm Clayton Anderson. I'm the writer and director of Fast. Fast is a dark comedy thriller about intermittent fasting, about this guy who's put on a strict bone-broth-only diet for 7 days, and it's just a descent into madness and how this diet affects him mentally, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. You're going on an extended fast. 7 days, no food. You're gonna drink this and only this. Your body is gonna adapt to it. It's gonna start moving in different directions, and this will help you. It sounds hard, but it's really not.
Is this safe?
I believe in you, but if you fail, and I'll know if you do, I'm gonna fuck you up. All right, good luck.
Thanks. I'm Peter Horgan. I'm the writer, director, producer of Chooch. It's a Boston gangster film about a low-level criminal ordered to kill a man, and he's hesitant to pull the trigger, so he goes to his best friend, a reformed gangster, seeking advice.
I still have nightmares about the last time. Get used to it, kid. You sure as don't need me to say this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway since you're here requesting my counsel. RDJ gives you a name, you take care of it. Or else he's giving your name to someone else. It's as simple as that, Frankie. I know.
Okay, so for Fast, what inspired you to write this specific story about broth cleanses?
So actually doing the diet is what inspired it.
Okay.
It's semi-based off of my weight loss journey. Around 2022, I was put on this diet, not for 7 days, I did it for 3 days. And during that time, I was instantly thinking, I was like, okay, I got to distract myself. How can I do that? I'll write a movie about it. So I did that. I wrote like 3 pages in 2022. About a year later, I came back to it. I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea. So went back to it, and we shot this last year. And but yeah, the inspiration was definitely just my process of going through it and how much it hurt. So yeah, that's where it came from.
Okay, and what would you say it was the biggest challenge in your journey through the fasting? Was it kind of similar to the film and the challenges within the film?
Kinda, not really, not to the extent that it goes into the film, but the film's more like a over-the-top, exaggerated version of what I went through a little bit. So yeah, I didn't do what happens in this movie.
Gotcha. Okay, and for you, what inspired you to tell your story?
Everything I write is usually like pretty personal. This is no exception to that. But what inspired me to write it was that I had this friend who he's a cinephile and he is such a personality, but he never acted before, and I thought he would make an excellent actor. So I wrote this little two-hander for him as just kind of like an experiment to challenge him to act. And then I ended up putting it to the side and making my first feature, and I cast this actor in that feature, and I cast him in a pretty sizable role as a hitman, and he killed it. He's one of the best parts of the movie. And I had kind of forgotten about this short, and then I was trying to make my second feature last year, and I couldn't get the money together, and I wanted to do something, so I just randomly watched Elaine May's film Mikey and Nicky for the first time. I hadn't seen it before. I loved it. And my short that I had written years before I had seen Mikey and Nicky was so similar to that film.
Wow.
There's, like, when you watch it, you'll see it. It's very, very similar, but different. And so it inspired me to go pick up the script. I did a little punch-up draft of it, and then I just got a couple of friends together. There was like a 5-person crew, myself included, and 2 actors, and we just shot it essentially in a weekend plus like a half day outside of that. So.
Okay. And I feel like the film says so much without words, right?
There's a lot of silence, yeah. There's a lot of talking and then, punctuated with a lot of silence, yeah.
So what led you to kind of like know when to put those silences in and when to have the silence lead?
It's a good question. I guess a lot of it's just kind of like naturally in the performance, I think. I like my style with dialogue is it's a very naturalistic way, so I let people talk how they really talk. And there's a lot of spaces in that. But also, it comes through in the edit as well. I have a great editor, Bruno Ferreira, who's edited my feature and then this. And, it's something that we work with is pacing, and just sometimes extending that pause and really playing with the amount of frames you have there, because just cutting 1 or 2 or adding a couple seconds can really help that pacing and help that what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes like silence in films are more powerful than the words itself, right?
I think so. I think that's some of the best moments in the film, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really great tool to use that. I feel like not a lot of filmmakers do well, right? And also like the performances can
It's hanging on that.
Yes,
Definitely.
Okay, so for Fast, your film like kind of walks the fine line between satire and discomfort, right? So how did you approach that balance as a director?
Mostly through the performances. Once we cast like a naturally funny guy, it was a lot easier to do some of the more comedic scenes while also keeping a dark tone. Because like once he auditioned, we were like, he's perfect. He understands this. This is going to be great. So collaborating with him, Samuel Bosch, was wonderful. And so we kind of would just discuss what's too funny, what's too far for this, and like where's the line to like not go way too comedic, like Evil Dead or something like that.
Yeah.
So lived in, but like realistic comedy, how like it would be. Yeah.
So did you kind of work with the actor based on his own comedic background to find the humor in it, or you had a like set tone already for it?
Well, the humor just really came from him. Like I said, after talking with him during the audition, because like we were probably 2 weeks from shooting, before we even had the role cast. It was a very hard part to cast for. And so we had to get a casting director, and he sent a message out to a bunch of people, and within 2 days we had like 50 auditions. And the moment I saw his, I was like, that's the guy. So he just added a lot to it, and he was also the one who wasn't afraid to like go to the extreme that some of the scenes call for. Like even in the audition, like the scene he takes his shirt off. In the audition, he took his shirt off. I was like, okay, that's already dedication that I like. And he's just naturally funny in his movements that I think just adds more to the humor that was already in the script that fits really well, I think. So
What would you say is like the message of the film that you want audiences to get from it?
So like, without spoiling too much, the whole thing is it's leading up to a date. He's doing this diet to impress his date, when it's like you should really just be doing it for yourself. Just your body's like, you only have one, so take care of it for yourself. And that's kind of the main message of the movie, is just like, take care of yourself for you. And he learns that the hard way. So.
Okay. And for you, what would you say your overall message of your film?
My message,
That
I guess
you just want to get audience.
I should have thought about that before this. I don't know. To me, it's a film about friendship and loyalty, and that's something I talk about a lot in my films. And I think sometimes loyalty can be a detriment to people when you're loyal to people who put you in precarious situations. But I think that, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have a message so much to it as it's a film about like deciding what's most important to you and sometimes like making difficult decisions that, you know, for the better of your friends and people you love.
Okay, great. And for the both of you, I'd really like to know, how would you guys define success in a short film?
You want to answer that first?
Yeah. You know, I don't do it for the awards or anything like that. I think there's a moment in the film that, you know, when we were doing it, we were like, this has to work or it's just not. And so seeing reactions to that moment is like, that's the biggest success that I get from this film. It's just seeing and hearing people's reactions to that, talking to people afterwards, and yeah, that's better than any like trophy that the film could get. So that's what it is for me. So
For me, it's really about money and awards.
Yeah.
No, none of that is coming for this short film. But you know, for me, it's really about every time I make a film, I just want to be better than the last time. And for me, like the reason I had to go make this film was because when I made my first feature, I shot it in 21. It came out in 23. And it was this like super shoestring budget crime film, run and gun. We shot it in 12 days. And it was like better than film school to me. I learned so much from it. I learned so much about directing, and I felt like it enhanced me so much as a storyteller from the mistakes that I made on that film and the things that I learned. So I was really eager to go and make another film to apply those things that I learned to another film. So like for me, success with this short film was about just taking a step up from my last film. And even though my last film was a feature, and some people would be like, oh, well, going and making a short after a feature is not a step up necessarily. I don't look at it that way. Like, I think that Chooch is the best film I've ever directed, and I'm very proud of it. And I learned more on that I hope to take with me to the next one.
This is a long one. Okay. So, this is his question. So, mob-connected characters can often feel like archetypes. We know what to expect. But giving Enzo a deep love for comic books and making him a collector added a surprising layer of humanity and complexity. So, where did that idea come from, and what did it mean to you to show that unexpected side of him?
It's a good question. I like that. So that's the thing with like making crime films, gangster films, which is, like I said, kind of my bread and butter, is that most of those stories have already been told. Like, I'm not telling new gangster stories, new crime stories that people haven't seen before. So the way that you make them your own is with the characters and making really interesting characters that people can empathize with and fall in love with even. And so for me, I spend so much time working on who the characters are. And for Enzo, he's very, like Anthony, so Josh Koopman plays Chooch and Anthony Farrakano plays Enzo. And Anthony is going to be here Thursday when we screen the film. And if you meet him, he's very, very similar to the character in the film. He's not a gangster, but he's that guy. And it's actually his comic book collection. He's obsessed with Wolverine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we decorated the set with his real comic book collection.
That's
and
amazing.
with like all of his figurines and everything.
Yeah,
He has
yeah.
this extensive collection. And so yeah, like it was part of it was like when I write, because I'm writing for low budgets, like I finance this film myself. So when I'm writing for low budgets, I'm often thinking like, how can I up my production value with things that I have at my disposal? So part of it came from like, oh, this is going to look really cool and we don't have to pay anything for it because Anthony already has all this stuff.
Yeah.
But also like, yeah, I thought it was this cool level to his character, this interesting thing that you don't expect like to see from like a gangster, a killer. Like you don't necessarily think you're going to see him with that he's obsessed with comic books. And like also there was this little kind of like thing here where I thought to myself like, not that anybody's asking me to direct a comic book movie, that's not happening, but this is probably the closest thing I would ever come to directing a comic book movie, is a gangster film with comic books in the background kind of thing. So, yeah.
So how did you find out that he was like obsessed with comic books?
Anthony and I used to do this security job together in Boston, and people introduced us. and they said, like, you got to meet this guy, he loves movies. And people say that to you all the time, and then you meet them and you're like, oh, you don't really love movies. Anthony starts talking to me about like F.W. Murnau and like shit that I'm like, what? How do you know this stuff? Like, I only know this because I took a film history course, you know, like that's, so we just hit it off instantly. We became fast friends. So like, we hang out all the time. Like he's a good friend of mine. Both of those actors are good friends of mine. So yeah.
Well, thank you both so much. This was great. Thank you. All right.